Hey guys, Thrasher here. He's finally on his way. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's coming in a banner very soon. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't yet, and let's talk about it right now. Okay, so if we go menu and go to news, we have some new news right here. The next Legends Rising banner is going to have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He will be sparking rarity, of course. One big thing to notice here is this was announced 9/11. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Normally we get our new content and our new banners on Wednesdays. Generally, it's very possible we get this banner tomorrow, although we may get it sometime later in the week. Normally these news announcements happen 1 to 3 days before we actually get the banner, so I'm fairly confident that we will get it tomorrow on Wednesday the 12th, but like I said, nobody knows for sure. Now let's go ahead and look at the characters and see what we're getting here. So regardless of how good this Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is going to be, I will be pulling for him. He's my favorite character in all of Dragon Ball, so keep that in mind in the future as I talk about the banner and the fact that I'll be spending crystals. I may not be spending crystals in the way that you should be spending them if you're trying to be efficient, because I care about this character, and that's the way you should play the game. You know, the game is for fun. It's not just to use your crystals in the most efficient manner possible. In the long run, that's what you want to do, but sometimes you gotta just pull for a character that you like, and that's all there is to it. So let's go ahead and talk about these guys. Okay, so Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, it says his ultimate skill, Soaring Dragon Strike, deals major damage and drastically reduces the enemy's health restoration for a period of time. Go on the offensive while their defenses are weak. So basically we know this is going to be a melee unit. He's going to be a purple, which is sort of what I assumed, because that was really the only color we were missing for Super Saiyans. We didn't have a purple Super Saiyan yet. That's what we got here. So there are quite a few options that this is good against. It's good against any Piccolos. It's good against the Restoring Android 18, the Extreme version. It's good against your Red Super Saiyan Vegeta. It's good against Cell. But there's a lot of very powerful units that don't use health restore, such as the two best units in the game right now, the Instant Transmission Goku and the Green Bardock. But the positive here is he's a purple, so he counters them anyway. He doesn't really need that. So this seems like he's a fairly well-rounded unit in the meta. He just doesn't seem to have that silver bullet skill that we're looking for. But that's okay. If his stats are good, which I'm willing to bet his stats are probably going to be off the charts, he's probably going to have the highest stat spread in the game, I would assume. And at that point, you have a well-rounded unit with a huge stat spread. He's probably going to be a unit that you're going to want, and I'm willing to bet he's going to be, I guess you could call him a meta breaker, simply because if you have him on your team, I'm thinking that means it nullifies the Instant Transmission Goku and Bardock teams, and that is the large majority of every team you're going to run into. It will probably force people to change to something like Instant Transmission Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and then the third slot is sort of a toss-up. There's lots of ways you could go with it. You could still try to stay with the Bardock, but I'm willing to bet that this Gohan is just going to smoke a Bardock and an Instant Transmission Goku, so it doesn't seem like it's your best bet. But most of that is just conjecture until we find out the actual hard stats on this guy, which I'm willing to bet will be in the very near future. We'll come back to that when we can. Let's talk about the Goku as well. Alright, so Super Saiyan Goku is a melee type fighter. They're both melee fighters, so we know we're getting two new melee fighters in this banner. His special skill and trusted power will power up his special move based on the number of downed allies. Use the situation to your advantage and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. So I'm willing to bet his special move is going to be another Kamehameha. It's going to do a lot more damage when you have downed allies on your team, so he's sort of your cleanup fighter, just like Bardock is. Bardock is a good all-around fighter, period, but he becomes extremely powerful when he's the last character on your team alive. I think that's going to be the same general idea here with this Super Saiyan Goku, and it does look like the meta is starting to get pretty melee heavy. We have Bardock, who is obviously an amazing melee unit. We've got this Gohan, who looks like he's going to be a great melee unit. I'm willing to bet that this Goku is going to have a decent stat spread just because of power creep. That's the way it's going to work. He's going to be a top tier, near top tier unit. A lot of the top tier units in the game right now are very melee heavy. We do have one or two very powerful blast units. We've got Android 17, Super Vegeta, and Cell. But outside of that, the large majority of the top half of the top tier units are all melee units. So what that says to me is we're going to start valuing equipment that increases melee defense a lot more. You really need to watch out for the long combo strings, because obviously it's much easier to chain together lower key cost strike arts cards than it is the blast arts cards. We're going to start valuing characters that bring double strike arts cards as support units a lot more. So even if you have a support card that doesn't do much damage, it's still very valuable if it can bring two strike arts cards, assuming you're running this style of team that's very strike heavy. So as we look at this banner, we can see the meta starting to evolve and starting to shape in a slightly different direction than it is right now, where at the moment I would say with Bardock and Instant Transmission Goku it's pretty balanced, because Bardock absolutely pumps out massive massive damage, and then you've got Instant Transmission Goku and Super Vegeta normally as your other two characters who can balance that out. So watch out, because I think the melee meta is on its way. Be prepared for that. And that's really all there is to this news. If you guys have any questions or comments, you think I missed anything, make sure to throw it down below and we'll talk about it. If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.